Namaste. Welcome to Samskriti. We are now in Adhyatma Ramayana's Aranyakandam, Sarga 7. Rama, divining beforehand the designs of the evil Ravana, called Sita alone one day and told her that Ravana would soon come to her disguised as an ascetic, and therefore he advised Sita to enter the holy fire, leaving behind her look-alike shadow in the hut and stay there hidden in the fire in an invisible form for a period of 1 year. He assured Sita that she could join him again when Ravana gets killed. Following this instruction of Rama, Sita did as she was told. She became invisible in fire, leaving behind a shadowy Sita. It was that Maya Sita who was attracted by the Maya deer. She came to Rama and in a humble tone spoke to him about the wonderful golden deer adorned by gems and jewels. Pointing to the golden deer's marvelous spots, she expressed her desire to have it as her playmate and requested Rama to capture it and give it to her. Rama agreed to do so, and picking up his bow, he addressed Lakshmana to make all efforts to protect his dear wife Sita. He warned that there were ferocious, elusive, and deceptive demons who were roaming in the forest. Hence, Lakshmana was to be very alert and careful in protecting the virtuous and devoted Sita. But Lakshmana told Rama that it was only Maricha in the disguise of a deer. He was very sure about it because there was no such deer in the entire existence. Lakshmana was aware that this was a ploy by Maricha because he had tried to kill them previously in the form of a deer. Rama replied that if he were indeed Maricha, then he was sure to get killed. On the contrary, if he was an ordinary deer, then he shall bring him to please Sita. So saying, Rama got ready to go, telling Lakshmana to guard Sita vigilantly. Thus instructing Lakshmana, Rama followed the magical deer. Rama, who is the support of the cosmic magic called Maya, who is the eternal, measureless, pure consciousness, who is all-pervading, self-sufficient and complete. He followed the deer for pleasing Sita, fully aware that the deer was in reality Maricha. He did all this only to fulfill the dictum that the Supreme Lord is ever gracious, munificent and benevolent to his devotees. For Maricha was also a devotee who wished to die at Rama's hand as a means of salvation, and Ravana too was one of his two devotees, Jaya and Vijaya, who had been cursed and were awaiting death at Rama's hands. Otherwise, what significance has a deer or a woman got for Rama, who is fully contented, desireless and enlightened? That deceptive deer now appeared very near one moment and went far away and disappeared the next. It reappeared again at a greater distance. In this manner, appearing and disappearing repeatedly, the deer managed to draw Rama to a considerable distance, which convinced him that the deer was indeed an asura, and so he struck it with an arrow. Immediately, on being shot, Maricha fell on the ground in a pool of blood and assumed his original form. But while falling down, he cried out in a voice mimicking that of Rama, calling out to Lakshmana, asking him to come to his rescue immediately as he was in danger. By merely muttering Rama's name at the time of death, Jivas attain moksha or salvation. Then what to say of the fortune of that asura who met with death at Rama's hands and with his physical presence within sight? The effulgence of Maricha's soul emerged from the body and instantly entered Sri Rama. The Devas who witnessed this spectacle were astonished and bewildered. They began talking among themselves that the cruel demon who had killed hermits and done many sinful deeds had attained such an auspicious end. Nothing but the greatness of Rama could account for this. Having been pierced by Rama's arrows on previous 2 occasions, he had already forsaken his home, wealth, and out of fear was constantly engaged in the thought of Rama. Having thus burnt up all his sins, Maricha had been fortunate to be killed by Rama's hands and attained Sadgati. Those who leave their bodies remembering Rama, whether they are Brahmins or demons, sinful or righteous, they are sure to attain the supreme status, Param Padam. Speaking to one another like this, the Devas returned to their abodes. Then Rama began to ponder as to the reason for the dying Asura calling out to Lakshmana, that too in his voice, and wondered what Sita would think when she heard a voice that was resembling his. With such worrying thoughts, Rama hastened to cover the distance back to his hermitage. Meantime, in their ashrama, the dying cry of Maricha in Rama's voice provoked great fear and sorrow in the mind of Sita. Overcome by mental agitations and worries, she told Lakshmana to rush to his brother Rama as he seemed to be in danger, asking if he hadn't heard his brother's voice. Lakshmana tried to console her, saying that the cry of distress could not be that of Rama and that it was uttered by some dying Rakshasa. For Rama was capable of destroying all the three worlds in no time if he gets angry. How could that Lord utter a cry of distress? At these words of Lakshmana, Sita became angry and admonished Lakshmana, calling him evil-minded, and accused him of being prompted to come with them by Bharata, who wanted to see Rama destroyed. She also asked Lakshmana if he had any plans to possess her on Rama's death, and told him that he would never get her as she was going to end her life immediately. She would not be touched by any male other than Rama, be it Lakshmana or Bharata. So saying, she started beating her chest with her hands and wept inconsolably. Hearing such reprehensive, stern, scornful, and accusing words from her, Lakshmana was aghast and overwhelmed with anguish and anger. He closed both his ears with his hands in disgust, and he spoke disdainfully that it was shameful of her to say such abhorrible, despicable words to him. Saying that her own speech would recoil on her and cause her own ruin, Lakshmana entrusted Sita to the protection of the forest deities and reluctantly proceeded in search of Rama in an extremely sorrow-stricken mood. Just at that time, seeing an opportune moment, Ravana assumed the form of a mendicant, complete with a staff and kamandala, and appeared before Sita. Seeing him, Sita quickly prostrated, worshipped him sincerely, and offered him fruits and roots. Welcoming him, she requested him to accept the fruits and rest for a while, saying that her husband would be returning soon. At this, the mendicant asked her to tell about herself, after which he would reveal about himself. Sita spoke about herself and the reason for living in the Dandakaranya. Then she asked the mendicant to speak about himself. The mendicant thereupon replied that he was Ravana, the scion of the Pulastya's clan and the king of the Rakshasas. He told her that being passionately infatuated with her, he had come there to take her with him to his capital. He coerced her to go with him and enjoy life, and not to remain any longer amidst that harsh forest life. Frightened by these words of Ravana, Sita told him that words of the kind that he had spoken to her would attract the penalty of death at Rama's hands. He would soon arrive with his brother, and she told Ravana that his threat to carry her away was as ridiculous as a rabbit seeking to carry away the wife of a lion. Soon he would fall down on earth, pierced by the arrows of Rama. At these words of Sita, Ravana, roused to a fit of violent rage, now revealed his colossus mountainous form, which had 10 heads and 20 arms, and a fearful and awe-inspiring countenance resembling that of a black cloud as on doomsday. Seeing that fearful, terrible form, the forest deities to whom Lakshmana had entrusted Sita fled away at the very sight of that form. Then Ravana used his nails to dig and scoop up the earth beneath Sita, and placing that block of earth along with Sita in his aerial chariot, he sped away through the path of the sky. Sita, shivering with terror and looking down towards the earth, wailed aloud the names of Rama and Lakshmana. Hearing the mournful cries of Sita, Jatayu, the best among eagles, rose up from his arboreal home and challenged Ravana, asking him to stop. Jatayu told him that he was stealing away the wife of the Lord of the Worlds from their empty ashram, as a dog carries away the offerings prepared for a sacrifice. With these words, Jatayu used his sharp beak to break the chariot of Ravana to smithereens, and used his claws to kill the horses and cut Ravana's bow to pieces. Thereupon, Ravana gave up his hold of Sita and took out his sword and, out of frustration, severed the wings of Jatayu. With his wings chopped off, the poor Jatayu fell to the ground, almost half dead. Meanwhile, Sita kept crying aloud to Rama, asking if he couldn't see his wife being abducted by a Rakshasa. She cried out asking for Lakshmana to forgive and forget her transgression, as she had railed him with a volley of unspeakable words. Seeing Sita wailing and lamenting, and fearing that Rama would hear her and arrive soon, Ravana put her in another chariot and moved on with the speed of wind. While going through the sky, the lotus-faced Sita kept gazing below towards the earth and saw 5 monkeys sitting on the top of a mountain. Seeing them, she tore off her scarf into pieces, tied her ornaments in them with knots, and threw them down on the mountainside to reach the monkeys so that they might tell Rama about her if they happened to see him. Eventually, Ravana crossed the ocean and reached Lanka with Sita. He took her to his residential palace and placed Sita in a secluded place called Ashokavana. Keeping her guarded by Rakshasa women, he protected her as one would do one's mother. At that place, Sita, who had become lean, forlorn, and miserable, abandoned all ornamentations and stayed amidst the Rakshasa women with complete dejection on her face and kept uttering Rama's name continuously. Moving on with the chanting now. अथ सप्तमः सर्गः श्रीमहादेव उवाच अथ रामोऽपि तत्सर्वं ज्ञात्वा रावणचेष्टितम् उवाच सीतामेकान्ते शृणु जानकि मे वचः रावणो भिक्षुरूपेण आगमिष्यति तेन्तिकम् त्वं तु छायां त्वदाकारां स्थापयित्वोटजे विश अग्नावदृश्यरूपेण वर्षं तिष्ठ ममाज्ञया रावणस्य वधान्ते मां पूर्ववत् प्राप्स्यसे शुभे श्रुत्वा रामोदितं वाक्यं सापि तत्र तथा करोत् माया सीतां बहिस्थाप्य स्वयमन्तर्दधे नले माया सीता तदा पश्यन् मृगं मायाविनिर्मितं हसन्ती राममभ्येत्य प्रोवाच विनयान्विता पश्य राममृगं चित्रं कानकं रत्नभूषितं विचित्रबिन्दुभिर्युक्तं चरन्तमकुतो भयं बद्ध्वा देहि मम क्रीडा मृगो भवतु सुन्दरः तथेति धनुरादाय गच्छन् लक्ष्मणमब्रवीत् रक्षत्वं मतियत्नेन सीतामत्प्राणवल्लभां मायिनः सन्ति विपिने राक्षसा घोरदर्शनाः अतोऽत्रावहितः साध्वीं रक्षसीतामनिन्दितां लक्ष्मणो राममाहेदं देवायं मृगरूपधृक् मारीचोऽत्र न सन्देह एवं भूतो मृगः कुतः श्रीरामोवाच यदि मारीच एवायं तदा हन्मि न संशयः मृगश्चेदानयिष्यामि सीता विश्रमहेतवे गमिष्यामि मृगं बद्ध्वा ह्यानयिष्यामि सत्वरः त्वं प्रयत्नेन सन्तिष्ठ सीता संरक्षणोद्यतः इत्युक्त्वा प्रययौ रामो मायामृगमनुद्रुतः माया यदाश्रयालोक मोहिनी जगदाकृतिः निर्विकारश्चिदात्मापि पूर्णोऽपि मृगमन्वगात् भक्तानुकम्पी भगवान् इति सत्यं वचो हरिः कर्तुं सीता प्रियार्थाय जानन्नपि मृगं ययौ अन्यथा पूर्णकामस्य रामस्य विदितात्मनः मृगेण वा स्त्रिया वापि किं कार्यं परमात्मनः कदाचिद्दृश्यतेऽभ्यासे क्षणं धावति लीयते दृश्यते च ततो दूरादेवं राममपाहरते ततो रामोऽपि विज्ञाय राक्षसोऽयमिति स्फुटम् विव्याधशरमादाय राक्षसं मृगरूपिणम् पपात रुधिराक्तास्यो मारीचः पूर्वरूपदृक् हा हतोऽस्मि महाबाहो त्राहि लक्ष्मण मां द्रुतम् इत्युक्त्वा रामवद्वाच पपात रुधिराशनः यन्नामाज्ञोऽपि मरणे स्मृत्वा तत्साम्यमाप्नुयात् किमुताग्रे हरिं पश्यन् स्तेनैव निहतोऽसुरः तद्देहादुदितं तेजः सर्वलोकस्य पश्यतः राममेवाविशद्देव विस्मयं परमं ययुः किं कर्म कृत्वा किं प्राप्तः पातकी मुनिहिंसकः अथवा राघवस्यायं महिमा नात्र संशयः रामबाणेन संविद्धः पूर्वं राममनुस्मरन् भयात् सर्वं परित्यज्य गृहवित्तादिकं च यत् हृदि रामं सदा ध्यात्वा निर्धूताशेषकल्मषः अन्ते रामेण निहतः पश्यन् राममवापसः द्विजो वा राक्षसो वापि पापी वा धार्मिकोऽपि वा त्यजन् कलेवरं रामं स्मृत्वा याति परं पदम् इति तेऽन्योन्यमाभाष्य ततो देवादिवं ययुः रामस्तच्चिन्तयामास म्रियमाणोऽसुराधमः हा लक्ष्मणेति मद्वाक्यम् अनुकुर्वन् ममार किं श्रुत्वा मद्वाक्यसदृशं वाक्यं सीतापि किं भवेत् इति चिन्तापरीतात्मा रामो दूरान्यवर्तत सीता तद्भाषितं श्रुत्वा मारीचस्य दुरात्मनः भीतातिदुःखसंविघ्ना लक्ष्मणं त्विदमब्रवीत् गच्छ लक्ष्मणवेगेन भ्राता ते सुरपीडितः हा लक्ष्मणेति वचनं भ्रातुस्तेन शृणोषि किं तामाह लक्ष्मणो देवी रामवाक्यं न तद्भवेत् यः कश्चिद्राक्षसो देवी म्रियमाणो ब्रवीद्वचः रामस्त्रैलोक्यमपि यः क्रुद्धो नाशयति क्षणात् स कथं दीनवचनं भाषते मरपूजितः क्रुद्धा लक्ष्मणमालोक्य सीता बाष्पविलोचना प्राह लक्ष्मण दुर्बुद्धे भ्रातुर्व्यसनमिच्छसि प्रेषितो भरतेनैव रामनाशाभिकाङ्क्षिणा मां नेतुमागतोऽसि त्वं रामनाश उपस्थिते न प्राप्स्यसे त्वं मामद्य पश्य प्राणान् त्यजाम्यहं न जानातीदृशं रामः त्वां भार्याहरणोद्यतं रामादन्यं न स्पृशामि त्वां वा भरतमेव वा इत्युक्त्वा वध्यमाना सा स्वबाहुभ्यां रुरोदः तच्छ्रुत्वा लक्ष्मणः कर्णौ पिधायातेव दुःखितः मामेवं भाषसे चण्डी धिक्त्वां नाशम् उपैष्यसि इत्युक्त्वा वनदेवीभ्यः समर्प्य जनकात्मजां ययौ दुःखातिसंविघ्नो राममेव शनैः शनैः ततोऽन्तरं समालोक्य रावणो भिक्षुवेषदृक् सीता समीपमगमत् स्फुरद्दण्डकमण्डलुः सीता तमवलोक्याशु नत्वा सम्पूज्य भक्तितः कन्दमूलफलादीनि दत्त्वा स्वागतमब्रवीत् मुने भुङ्क्ष्व फलादीनि विश्रमस्व यथा सुखम् इदानीमेव भर्ता मे ह्यागमिष्यति ते प्रियं करिष्यति विशेषेण तिष्ठत्वं यदि रोचते भिक्षुरुवाच का त्वं कमलपत्राक्षी को वा भर्ता तवानघे किमर्थमत्र ते वासो वने राक्षससेविते ब्रूहि भद्रे ततः सर्वं स्ववृत्तान्तं निवेदये सीतोवाच अयोध्याधिपतिः श्रीमान् राजा दशरथो महान् तस्य ज्येष्ठः सुतो रामः सर्वलक्षणलक्षितः तस्याहं धर्मतः पत्नी सीता जनकनन्दिनी तस्य भ्राता कनीयांश्च लक्ष्मणो भ्रातृवत्सलः पितुराज्ञां पुरस्कृत्य दण्डके वस्तुमागतः 14 समास्त्वां तु ज्ञातुमिच्छामि मे वद। भिक्षुरुवाच पौलस्त्यतनयोऽहं तु रावणो राक्षसाधिपः त्वत्कामपरितप्तोऽहं त्वां नेतुं पुरमागतः मुनिवेशेण रामेण किं करिष्यसि मां भज भुङ्क्ष्व भोगान् मया सार्धं त्यज दुःखं वनोद्भवम्। श्रुत्वा तद्वचनं सीता भीता किञ्चिदुवाच तं यद्येवं भाषसे मां त्वं नाशमेष्यसि राघवात्। आगमिष्यति रामोऽपि क्षणं तिष्ठ सहानुजः मां को धर्षयितुं शक्तो हरेर्भार्यां शशो यथा रामबाणैर्विभिन्नस्त्वं पतिष्यसि महीतले इति सीतावच श्रुत्वा रावणक्रोधमूर्छितः स्वरूपं दर्शयामास महापर्वतसन्निभं दशास्यं 20 भुजं कालमेघसमद्युतिं। तद्दृष्ट्वा वनदेव्यश्च भूतानि च वितत्रसुः ततो विदार्य धरणी नखैरुद्धृत्य बाहुभिः तोलयित्वा रथे क्षिप्त्वा ययौ क्षिप्रं विहाय सा हा राम हा लक्ष्मणेति रुदती जनकात्मजा भयोद्विग्नमनादीना पश्यन्ति भुवमेव सा श्रुत्वा तत्क्रन्दितं दीनं सीतायाः पक्षिसत्तमः जटायुरुत्थितः शीघ्रं नगाग्रातीक्ष्णतुण्डकः तिष्ठ तिष्ठेति तं प्राह को गच्छति ममाग्रतः मुषित्वा लोकनाथस्य भार्यां शून्याद्वनालयात् शुनको मन्त्रपूतं त्वं पुरोडाशमिवाध्वरे इत्युक्त्वा तीक्ष्णतुण्डेन चूर्णयामास तद्रथं वाहान् बिभेदपादाभ्यां चूर्णयामास तद्धनुः ततः सीतां परित्यज्य रावणः खड्गमाददे शिच्छेदपक्षौ सामर्षः पक्षिराजस्य धीमतः पपात किञ्चित् शेषेण प्राणेन भुवि पक्षिराट् पुनरन्यरथेनाशु सीतामादाय रावणः क्रोशन्ति राम रामेति त्रातारं नाधिगच्छति हा राम हा जगन्नाथ मां न पश्यसि दुःखितां रक्षसा नीयमानां स्वां भार्यां मोचय राघव हा लक्ष्मण महाभाग त्राहि मामपराधिनीं वाक्शरेण हतस्त्वं मे क्षन्तुमर्हसि देवर इत्येवं क्रोशमानां तां रामागमनशङ्खया जगाम वायुवेगेन सीतामादाय सत्वरः विहाय सा नीयमाना सीता पश्यद्ददोमुखी पर्वताग्रे स्थितान् 5 वानरान् वारिजानना उत्तरीयार्धकण्डेन विमुच्याभरणादिकं बद्ध्वा चिक्षेपरामाय कथयन्त्विति पर्वते ततः समुद्रमुल्लिङ्घ्य लङ्कां गत्वा स रावणः स्वान्तःपुरे रहस्ये तामशोकविपिने क्षिपते राक्षसीभिः परिवृता मातृबुद्ध्यान्वपालयते कृशातिदीना परिकर्मवर्जिता दुःखेन शुष्यद्वदनातिविह्वला हा राम रामेति विलप्यमाना सीता स्थिता राक्षसवृन्दमध्ये इति श्रीमध्यात्मरामायणे उमामहेश्वरसंवादे अरण्यकाण्डे 7मः सर्गः।